Hello, my respected gentlemen. If you are over 60 and think that waking up several times at night to urinate is just a natural part of aging, then I have to be honest with you, that is completely wrong. This is not a harmless phenomenon. On the contrary, it's a clear signal that your prostate is in trouble, and the real culprit actually comes from a very familiar habit that most men do every single day. I am Dr. Marie. For more than 30 years, I have accompanied thousands of male patients in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. Through clinical experience, I've seen that many cases are not simply caused by age, but by daily lifestyle habits that silently drive prostate enlargement and disturb sleep. And today, I will show you clearly what those harmful habits are, especially right in the very first part of this video. I will reveal one habit that most men still believe is good for their health, but in reality, it is quietly making their condition worse. I am certain many of you will be surprised when you hear this. Before we begin, let me ask you one question. Where are you watching this video from? I would be very glad to know who I am accompanying today in this journey of protecting men's health. Don't forget to leave your answer in the comments below. Now, let's get started with the first habit. Habit 1. Drinking less water at night, a false benefit that harms the prostate. Many gentlemen after 60 often proudly tell me, "Doctor, I've cut back on drinking water at night so I don't have to wake up to urinate so many times." At first, this may sound logical, drink less, pee less. But in reality, it is the exact opposite. This very habit is placing more pressure on your prostate and making it more prone to swelling and inflammation. When you limit water intake too much, especially late in the day, your urine becomes darker, more concentrated, and more acidic. This type of urine irritates the bladder, making you feel the urge to urinate more frequently. As a result, instead of sleeping through the night, you wake up multiple times, only passing a small amount each time but still feeling uncomfortable. Not only that, dehydration also slows down your body's detoxification process, making tissues, including the prostate, more vulnerable to chronic inflammation. That's why many men constantly feel heavy, urinate frequently, and never realize the real culprit is simply drinking water the wrong way. The solution is not to stop drinking, but to drink smart. Spread out your water intake throughout the day, sip small amounts regularly from morning to afternoon instead of gulping at the end of the day. Watching the color of your urine is an easy way to tell. Light-colored means your body is well hydrated. In the evening, just cut back during the 90 minutes before bedtime. Don't eliminate water completely. This is only one of those habits that may seem good, but in fact silently worsens your prostate condition. Alongside drinking water incorrectly, there's another common habit: sitting too long in one place without moving. It may feel like relaxation, but it actually builds hidden pressure on the pelvic region. We'll explore that in the next part. My friend, if you are still watching up to this point, I am truly glad that you are taking your health seriously. Please leave a number 1 in the comments so I know you are still with me. Habit 2. Sitting too long, the silent burden on the prostate. I once met a retired patient who shared with me, "Doctor, every day I spend hours in front of the TV, reading newspapers and doing crosswords. I thought that was enjoying retirement." It sounds reasonable, but in reality, sitting motionless for too long is one of the habits that quietly harms the prostate, though few men realize it. When you sit too much, the pelvic region endures continuous pressure. Over time, blood flow to the prostate is reduced, tissues are not nourished properly, and waste removal slows down. The result: the gland develops mild inflammation, swelling, and manifests through familiar symptoms: frequent urination, weak stream, or even discomfort when sitting for too long. The danger is that the damage doesn't show immediately but progresses gradually. At first, just a few restless nights, a few extra bathroom trips, but over time the discomfort grows and quality of life declines. The fix is actually much simpler than most think. You don't need heavy exercise. Just standing up, stretching, or taking a few steps every 30 minutes is enough to release pressure, restore circulation, and give your prostate some relief. Some of my patients set reminders to get up, and within just a few weeks they noticed improved sleep and fewer nighttime bathroom trips. And if prolonged sitting causes external pressure, another habit triggers irritation from the inside. The familiar culprit is caffeine, the very substance found in your daily cup of coffee, strong tea, or soda. Habit 3. Consuming too much caffeine, the stimulant that overworks the bladder. I must admit, I personally love the aroma of morning coffee, and for many gentlemen that hot cup of coffee is a small daily joy. But after years of working with patients, I realized that consuming too much caffeine is actually one of the major reasons why prostate-related symptoms worsen. Caffeine not only stimulates the brain but also forces the urinary system to work harder. It increases urine production and causes the bladder to contract more frequently. For younger men, this effect may not be significant, but for men over 60, when the prostate is already enlarged, this extra stimulation is like pouring gasoline on a fire. You may notice this yourself. After a few cups of coffee, strong tea, or soda, you urinate repeatedly, but always feel like you haven't completely emptied. Some of my patients used to drink coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon, and soda at night. When they cut back, switching gradually to herbal teas or caffeine-free drinks within just 1-2 weeks, their nighttime urination decreased significantly and their sleep improved. The key point is you don't have to give it up entirely. Keep that 1 cup of coffee in the morning as a small pleasure. But stop there, don't let additional caffeine throughout the day become a burden on your prostate. And on your dining table, there's another group of foods even more dangerous: processed foods and spicy dishes. These are the triggers that disrupt hormones and accelerate prostate inflammation. We will analyze them in the next section. My friend, if you're still following this video up to now, I truly appreciate your patience. Please leave a number 3 in the comments so I know I'm not speaking alone. Habit 4: processed foods and spicy dishes, stimulating the prostate from within. I once met a patient named Bill, 68 years old. He said that even though he had cut down on sweets and tried to walk every day, his nighttime urination still did not improve. When I asked more closely about his daily meals, he laughed. "Every morning I eat bacon, at lunch it's a ham sandwich, and in the evening I need something spicy with chili to enjoy the meal." And from here, the real cause gradually revealed itself. Many people still think food is simply for providing energy. But in reality, food is also a signal that impacts the whole body. Processed foods like sausages, canned meat, frozen meals, or snacks often contain lots of bad fats, salt, and additives. Consumed over time, they promote chronic inflammation, making the prostate, which is already sensitive in old age, even more likely to swell. Not only that, spicy foods such as chili, pepper, or hot sauces can directly stimulate the bladder and pelvic nerves. The result is that you constantly feel the urge to urinate, even when the bladder is not full. This disrupts sleep, weakens the urine stream, and takes away the comfort of daily life. What's more concerning is their impact on hormones. Many industrial foods can increase estrogen and lower testosterone. This is the exact mechanism that drives the prostate to enlarge faster. In other words, those familiar daily meals can quietly become the fuel worsening the condition. The good news is that just by making gradual changes, you will see clear differences. When Bill switched to grilled chicken breast, added vegetables and fresh fruits, only a few weeks later he was sleeping better, urinating less, and feeling more clear-headed. This proves that a healthy diet can become a natural medicine to protect the prostate. If food can harm from the inside, then another habit, seemingly simple and harmless, creates direct pressure from the outside. That is the habit of holding urine for too long, something many men often do. Habit 5: holding urine too long. When a small habit causes big consequences. One thing that surprised me is that many men consider holding urine as nothing serious. Some said, "I was busy watching a football match so I held it until halftime," or "I was on the road so I waited until the next rest stop." But in reality, this is one of the silent harmful habits for the prostate that I encounter very often in older patients. Every time you intentionally hold urine, the bladder stretches excessively, like a balloon being overinflated. This pressure presses directly on the prostate, making surrounding tissues easily irritated, inflamed, and swollen. Over time, the muscles and nerves that control urination also weaken, leading to difficulty urinating, incomplete emptying, and a constant heavy discomfort. It doesn't stop there. Holding urine also prevents the bladder from emptying fully. The residual urine becomes a breeding ground for bacteria, leading to urinary tract infections. And as the inflammation spreads, the prostate is affected even more severely. I remember a patient who had been a firefighter. Due to the nature of his work, he had to hold urine for hours. By the time he retired, the consequences were obvious. He had to wake up 5-6 times every night, and his sleep was almost completely disrupted. The way to prevent this is very clear. Listen to your body. When you feel the urge, go immediately. This is not weakness. It is an act of protecting your bladder and prostate from accumulated damage. Right after this, in the next part, we will talk about a factor coming from the external environment: cigarette smoke. Even if you don't smoke, just inhaling secondhand smoke is enough to negatively affect your prostate. Habit 6: inhaling cigarette smoke, the silent enemy of the prostate. I once met a patient over 70 years old. He said he had quit smoking more than 10 years ago, but his nighttime urination and pelvic heaviness had not improved. When asked more carefully, he admitted that every week he still gathered with friends in smoke-filled rooms. He thought just inhaling a little smoke wouldn't matter. But in reality, the prostate is extremely sensitive to toxins from cigarettes, even secondhand smoke. Each cigarette contains thousands of toxic chemicals. They reduce oxygen in the blood, narrow the blood vessels that supply the prostate, and trigger prolonged inflammation. With long-term exposure, the glandular tissue becomes fibrotic, loses its ability to recover, and the risks of prostate enlargement or even cancer increase. What's important to note is that after the age of 60, the body's detoxification ability declines significantly. This means that even if you quit smoking long ago, regularly sitting in smoke-filled environments is enough to drag your prostate health down. The good news is that you can control this. Avoid smoky environments, encourage friends and family not to smoke indoors, or move gatherings to well-ventilated places. Just one small change can already help your prostate breathe more easily. And if cigarette smoke from the outside can damage the prostate, then another mistake comes from within: many men's neglect of regular checkups. Habit 7: skipping regular checkups, dangerous negligence. I once met a 66-year-old patient who endured frequent urination, fatigue, and dull abdominal pain for an entire year. When I asked why he never went for checkup, he just smiled and said, "I was afraid of the results, so I left it that way." This is not a rare case, it's actually a common mindset among many men. The problem is the prostate often speaks up very silently. A weaker urine stream, one extra trip to the bathroom at night, or a vague heavy sensation, all are easy to dismiss. But it is exactly this delay that allows the disease to progress quietly. And by the time it is discovered, treatment has already become much more complicated. Meanwhile, with just one routine checkup each year, such as a clinical exam, a PSA blood test, or sometimes a rectal exam, a doctor can detect the problem early and provide timely solutions. Just like a car needs regular maintenance to avoid breakdowns, your body also needs scheduled care to maintain health. In fact, many patients who went for regular checkups and promptly adjusted their diet and lifestyle saw a clear reduction in nighttime urination and discomfort after only a few months. This shows that early detection is truly the best shield of protection. And you may be surprised to learn that even in your daily meals, consuming too much red meat and processed meat is another major factor that accelerates prostate enlargement. Habit 8: eating too much red meat and processed meat, the hidden time bomb for the prostate. I once met a man in his 70s, a former soldier. He joked that he could never live without steak. For him, a meal without red meat felt incomplete. This is a common habit among many men, but few realize that eating too much red meat and processed meat is a key factor in driving prostate enlargement. Fatty red meats like beef, lamb, and pork, along with processed meats such as sausages, ham, and bacon, often contain high levels of saturated fats, salt, and preservatives. Over the long term, these substances cause chronic inflammation, disrupt hormone balance, and increase stress on the prostate, which is already sensitive after the age of 60. Some studies even point to a link between high red meat consumption and a greater risk of prostate diseases, including cancer. Not only that, eating too much red meat can overload the digestive system, causing bloating and indigestion. This indirectly affects blood circulation and metabolism, making it harder for the prostate to remain stable. The important point is, you don't need to eliminate it completely. The key lies in moderation. Limit red meat to just a few times a week and replace it with healthy protein from fish, white meat, beans, and nuts. When my patients applied this, many of them reported feeling lighter, experiencing fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and enjoying better overall energy. And if red meat is an external factor coming from your dining table, then there is another culprit already inside your body, that is belly fat. Habit 9: belly fat and being overweight, hormone imbalance and inflammation flare up. I recall a patient named Leonard, 64 years old. During the exam, he laughed and said, "Doctor, this big belly of mine just makes me heavy, but it doesn't do any harm." And this is a very common misconception. In reality, belly fat is not just an appearance issue, it directly affects prostate health. Unlike subcutaneous fat, belly fat is metabolic fat. It has the ability to release multiple inflammatory substances and strongly affect hormones. In men, excess belly fat reduces testosterone and increases estrogen. This imbalance is a major reason behind abnormal prostate growth. In addition, belly fat also causes cardiovascular and blood sugar disorders, making blood circulation to the pelvic area less efficient. As a result, the prostate becomes prone to inflammation, swelling, and symptoms such as frequent urination, weak stream, or pelvic heaviness. The good news is that just reducing about 5% of body weight can already significantly improve symptoms. Many of my patients started with small steps, switching soda to water, walking 15 minutes every evening, and adding a portion of vegetables to their main meals. After just a few weeks, they slept better, had fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and felt much lighter. However, even if you manage your weight well, there is still another invisible culprit that can weaken the prostate, and that is prolonged stress. Habit 10: chronic stress, the underground fire that destroys health. Over many years of practice, I have met countless men over 60 who appear calm on the outside, but inside they carry pressure and worry. One man once told me, "I'm not used to complaining, I just keep everything inside." And that was exactly what made his body exhausted. Modern medicine has proven that prolonged stress directly affects the prostate. When under stress, the hormone cortisol, the stress hormone, is always elevated. It promotes inflammation, tightens the pelvic muscles, and suppresses testosterone production. As a result, the prostate is both inflamed and deprived of protection from male hormones. This explains why many men who are stressed and sleep-deprived are more likely to experience nighttime urination and pelvic discomfort. Only when learning how to release stress does the body get the chance to recover. Some of my patients improved significantly when they spent 10 minutes on deep breathing, took morning walks, or wrote in a journal to unload their worries. Stress is like an underground fire. If not controlled, it will burn away your health from the inside. Dear gentlemen, we have just gone through 10 habits that seem harmless but silently cause the prostate to enlarge over time. The most important thing I want you to remember: you are not weak, nor are you broken. It's just that before, you didn't have enough information. And now that you understand, you can absolutely take control and make changes. The wonderful thing is that you don't need to change everything overnight. Just start with one small thing, repeat it consistently, and your health will gradually improve over time. Before we end, I want to share with you a ritual that takes only 15 seconds before bedtime, which has helped many of my patients reduce nighttime urination and sleep better. Lie on your back, place both hands on your lower abdomen. Relax your body, inhale deeply through your nose for 5 seconds, allowing your belly to rise. Hold your breath for 2 seconds, then slowly exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds, feeling your lower abdomen fully relax. Repeat 2-3 times. This breathing exercise helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the natural mechanism that calms stress, reduces pelvic muscle tension, and lowers pressure on the bladder, allowing you to fall asleep more easily and stay in deep sleep. If you find these insights helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the latest videos. This is a long journey, and I am truly honored to accompany you on the path of protecting men's health after 60. Thank you sincerely for watching this video to the end. I wish you always stay healthy, confident, and enjoy peaceful sleep every night.